they want that to be the opposition in Gaza,
conflict
so
is funny.
that they can push back very strong with the military. So,
well, if I can float an idea, we were discussing this on last night's episode. If I'm remembering correctly, it's all a blur anymore. I've just been going nonstop. I just had like a 2.5 hour meeting. Now I'm here. If I could posit a hypothesis here, right after actually Benjamin Netanyahu came back into power, I believe in 2021, a investigation into corruption on his part was begun by, I believe, both the Shin Bet and the Attorney General's office, and it also touched on the Israeli Supreme Court as well. And from what I understand, he is facing up to 10 years in prison for the charges of corruption that have been alleged in Israel by both Shin Bet and the Attorney General. And so is it possible that Netanyahu arranged, orchestrated, or just told the people to stand down to start this fight in an effort to hold on to what political power he still has left in that country, as opposed to going through the trial, being found guilty, and then, being thrown in jail? He has a very big interest in not going to jail. And clearly, war is one of the best ways to get people to stop looking at him and to, be in fear, living in fear, and, not so concerned with the personal corruption of their prime minister, especially if, there's this looming threat of like a bombs or nukes being dropped on them by some hostile Arab actors. So I kind of think that that's what it's about. I think that this is like a last-ditch stand for Netanyahu to hold on to power. And, it's costing lives. What do they call them? The Hayalim, right? The fighters on the front lines. I mean, they're dying. They're being killed. And I think that, people in Israel should rightly be looking at Benjamin Netanyahu like, hey, guy, what are you doing? Do you care about our people? Do you care about the Jewish state? I mean, like, the way that they've responded after this too has in fact created a lot of like anti-Semitism around the world. And I'm even wondering if from time to time I look at this and it's like you see this like really lowbrow stuff, and it's like, you almost wonder, is this being promoted on purpose? Because I think if the numbers are, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think something in the order of 700,000 people have emigrated from Israel and gone back off either, to America, Ukraine, all around the world. And so is this being done in America? Are these kind of like lowbrow voices of anti-Semitism being promoted in order to kind of like spurn Jewish people that live here to make aliyah and to kind of go and bolster the failing state over there? Frankly, it's an interesting question, and one that I don't know the answer to that, but it is interesting.
The ADL has a long history of intentionally promoting anti-Semitism in order to drive up donations to the ADL.
So terrible.
As far as a long-term plan with Netanyahu has a long history of anytime he's in trouble politically, some conflict just happens to spark off, and then he's suddenly in better waters politically. So I have no doubt that that's what happened. I hope that he is investigated and prosecuted for letting all of those deaths occur. It's very awful. The idea that those paragliders just got it. It's crazy, and he should be investigated. And then, I mean, we're talking. I think finally, I'm not Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro said the other day that JFK. Why does it matter, gang? Why does it matter that he was killed? Why does that matter, gang?
That was fucking awesome. Jesus Christ, that was perfect.
It's like he's here with us.
It matters, gang, because JFK was the American president, and many, many, many Americans were alive. Right now, Americans were alive when that happened. And so, he tried to compare it to Garfield or McKinley, but it's not ancient history like that. Americans today are alive that witnessed that happen, and then the concerns behind the assassination, the forces that drove that and covered it up, those concerns are much more likely to still be in power today. So Ben Shapiro either isn't as smart as he wants you to think he is because he talks really fast, or he's covering something up, and he really botched it by saying something so stupid. And I wanted to let Dave Reilly rip on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, man, Ben Shapiro just sucks. If, like people have alleged that he's like an unregistered foreign agent or potentially like a Mossad asset that was, sent to psyop the masses. And if that's true, he's failing at his job. He sucks. He's not fooling anybody. And it's become completely transparent at this point that, and his whole empire is failing now. Jeremy Boring is out. Daily Wire is bankrupt. Thank God.
Are they really bankrupt? Did they file?
I don't know if they filed for bankruptcy yet, but every indication that's coming out of there.
I don't think we could claim that until they actually file, because there are certain stages of business.
Okay, yeah, whatever I need to say to make it legally go away.
No, I mean, they could be in, let's say their finances are bad. Let's say their finances are bad. There's many options around it. One is a venture capitalist investment. Another is an acquisition. So normally before a bankruptcy filing, you explore all those other options. There's no doubt they could be exploring that, but there's no reason for me to believe that they're that financially insolvent. I don't know their balance sheet, but I mean, at the end of the day, they don't sell real, it's not a business based on tangible goods. It's a business based on intellectual property. So I'd imagine that it would be really hard, because all you have to do in that case is scale down your IP, right? Like Brett Cooper and whoever else they land, Candace, obviously high ticket items. But if you're not, for example, if I have a warehouse of goods, I have $5 million of goods, and that's that until it sells, I'm sitting on that 5 million. Right. Whereas you have like a Candace Owens and a Matt Walsh, you have a lucrative sponsorship deal system. You also have revenue coming in from Rumble, from YouTube, from X, whatever else you're doing. I'd imagine they do have tangible goods. Doesn't he sell like razors and chocolates and shit? So, yeah. I mean, they're very, very well monetized. It's hard for me to believe that they would get to a situation where they're not solvent. But if they do, that takes a lot of skill to take a company of that magnitude with that many subscribers, to become bankrupt. That would, just looking at it from a businessman's point of view, I'm like, that would be really impressive to fail at that with those subscriptions. I mean, wild.
Jeremy Boring, I think one of the reasons he stepped down, the production that he was the head of, some medieval movie,
right, a 3-part series, wasn't it?
They dumped money into that thing. They're not recouping whatever they put into it. It's not like they're getting more subscribers because of that. I've never seen a clip from it ever. Any good movie, show, anything that does well in 2025, you see clips of it go around, people discuss it. No one has ever discussed this thing that Boring poured millions and millions into, Hollywood level production, except for the fact that nobody's watching it and they're losing a bunch of money over it. So I think he was forced out rather than stepped down, because the things he's doing have been losing money. And I think the acquisition of Timcast that he tried to do, that was allegedly an all stock deal. So they weren't trying to acquire it with money, maybe because they don't have it to spend. Right. So
he was trying to acquire Timcast. Is that confirmed?